full-time MMA?
MMA.
Nothing
Yeah.
else?
My life, man, yeah.
Back to the daily grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
Holy flying flipping flapjacks, there's nothing like getting off of work, coming home, checking your email and seeing day one hitter motherfucking big time member of the full time family, Jorge 1 donated $20. Let's motherfucking go. Woo! Nature boy Ric Flair in this bitch. Fuck you, Tap Matt. With that being said, let's get to the MMA news. I'm hyped up. Thank you, Jorge. Much appreciated, sir. I just gave you a bow that you couldn't see. With that being said, Cris Cyborg. She's mad. She feels like she's being, you mad, sis? She feels like she's being targeted by you. And yeah, thanks, USADA. No, I'm just playing, but a lot of people don't know this fact, but this has nothing to do with Cris Cyborg being on steroids or USADA thinking she's on steroids, in my opinion. This has everything to do, I mean, and they might, but that's not why they're doing it now. But if you guys remember, I know some of the full-time family remembers, about last week or the week before, Cris Cyborg was out like in Thailand and USADA came to collect their old handy-dandy piss sample, and they called the motherfucking boys on her. They called the fucking police on the USADA collectors. What the fuck you talking about? USADA comes, you know, they gotta be a little discreet. They can't just let, hey Thailand, we're USADA, we're in town visiting. Anyone know where we can find Cyborg? They can't just announce their motherfucking arrival to everybody in the country and in the motel, because then that would let people and fighters, hey, fucking USADA's here. Yo, go drink some fucking bleach. Go fucking get the, you know, go get the whizzer. You know what I'm saying? So, they said they called the police on USADA because they didn't have their proper paperwork and all of this shit about USADA, which just doesn't sound right. USADA is professional. I mean, we've heard that testimony from fighters, from analysts, from media. USADA is really professional with how they go about their business. Whenever USADA busts somebody, it's usually because they've checked and checked and checked and checked again. They're not just going to come out and ruin reputation or a fighter's reputation without doing their due diligence. So the fact that they were saying that they called the police on USADA because they didn't have their paperwork and yada yada, yeah, well, you know, not everybody was buying that. It looked like Cris Cyborg was avoiding USADA. That's just what it looked like from the outside. With that being said, now Cris Cyborg is coming out and revealing that USADA's tested her over 3 times, and she feels like she's being targeted by USADA. She's like, I'm all for it. I'm all for a clean sport, but hey, motherfuckers better be hitting Holly Holm up with these tests too, because she trains at Jackson Wink, where John Jones and, I mean, who else from there's got popped for steroids? I'd have to pull up a list of their fighters, but you know, John Jones isn't the only athlete from Jackson Wink. And I'm going to have to pull somebody else up because I don't feel right saying that without having a fucking other example off the top of my head. I know you're listening thinking, oh, they got this guy and this guy. But what Cris Cyborg is saying, hey, the fact that she's coming from Jackson Wink MMA and they've tested her before, they better be getting tested like I'm getting tested. That was USADA's point. That was Cris Cyborg's point. She just, so with that being said, I'm going to read Cris Cyborg's, you know, lashing out against USADA and her feeling like she's being targeted. But 1 second, because I've got a few tabs up and that's making shit. Okay, here she goes. She says, it's clear USADA's targeting me, she wrote. I've been tested 3 times in less than a month, even though I don't have a signed bout agreement. I am a clean athlete and support USADA testing as it gives me a chance to prove to my fans that I am competing clean. With that said, I want to make sure Holly Holm is being tested with the same number of tests leading up to our UFC 219 main event. What? Hold on, hold your fucking horses right there. Don't just slide that. She said something else, but you can't just slide that in there. UFC 219 main event? Nigga, I'm expecting Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson, and you're gonna slide it in there, Cris Cyborg versus Holly Holm as the main event. I swear to God, I won't order that fucking pay-per-view. I don't give a fuck if Dominic Cruz, Carlos Condit, Daniel Cormier, and John Jones are on that bitch. Okay, John Jones, alright. I don't give a fuck who's on that card, how stacked it is. But if I'm expecting a huge main event, a Conor McGregor main event, and you give me Cris Cyborg versus Holly Holm, me personally, I'm pissed. Yeah, I understand they're both fucking women fighters. I was about to say dominant, and then I thought about like Holly Holmes, like last 5 fights. We know Cyborg's dominant. That's cool. We know Holly Holm beat Ronda Rousey. That's cool. What the fuck? I need to see some of these chick pay-per-view numbers. Like, that is a real question I have. Does Cyborg sell? Like, what? I don't know what the fuck's going on there, but hold on, man. I gotta think about that a whole nother time. Let's go continue what Cris Cyborg was saying. Alright, I gotta repeat that line, though, because that's pretty fucking crazy. I want to make sure Holly Holm is being tested with the same number of tests leading up to our UFC 219 main event. If they show up at my house at 6 a.m., then I want them to show up at Holly Holm's house at 6 a.m. the same amount of times. At Jackson Wink MMA has had more athletes than any other gym in MMA suspended by USADA, and because of this I want to guarantee that both athletes will be tested the same amount of times by now in our fight December 30th. Man! She's got a good point here, but you better get out of here with these motherfucking making demands and shit. I mean, what do you, that's not how USADA works, bro. You can't change USADA's, or sis, whichever one. Sis, you cannot change USADA's entire fucking if they did that, do you, like, people, think about this. USADA is random drug testing. It's not, alright, Conor's fighting Tony Ferguson, so we're gonna test Conor at 2 p.m. So we've got to make sure we've also got USADA agents with Tony Ferguson at 1:55 so we can test them both at the exact same time, 2 p.m. And then we're going to also, 2 days, you know what I'm saying? They don't have to have a fucking team in place. Because if you're in Thailand, Holly Holm's in fucking New Mexico, that means they got to have USADA agents and in Thailand ready to sync up and test you and Holly Holm at the exact same time. And oh, by the way, hopefully you don't fucking call the police on them, or they're gonna have to say, sorry, Holly, fucking, they're over there in Thailand dealing with the police. Just sit still, please, while we wait on them to get you. You know, what the fuck? No, that's not how it works. I understand if you feel like you're being unfairly targeted or whatever, but that's just, I mean, you can feel like that, but until you have proof, that don't mean shit. If it's random testing and you get tested 6 fucking times in 6 months, you just got the short end of the stick. I mean, as far as what random means. Now, if you've got proof of somebody saying, hey, we gotta really test Cyborg, maybe this is a way of getting Holly Holm to take the fight, yo. Holly Holm has never been gung-ho to fight Cris Cyborg. As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago or a year ago, when this fight was talked about, Holly Holm's team, her coaches were saying that she wasn't going to take that fight. But now I really do want to see the fight, Cris Cyborg versus Holly Holm. Talk about UFC 219 main event, you can get the fuck out of here with that. I would rather not see that fight ever than you tell me that's the UFC 219 main event. And let me, before you're like, why? What's UFC 219? Well, I understand. You might be confused. UFC 219 is supposed to be the biggest card of the fucking year, if not the second biggest. I mean, this has been a slow year for the motherfucking UFC. And we already know Dominic Cruz is returning in December 30th, UFC 219. We know Carlos Condit's coming out of retirement and fighting the motherfucking UFC 219. We know Daniel Cormier is rumored to fight Volkan Ozdemir there. That's probably not going to happen, but still, Conor McGregor versus Tony Ferguson is rumored to happen at UFC 219. What the fuck? You gonna tell me, sorry guys, we couldn't make the Conor fight happen, but here's Holly and Cyborg. Holly Holm, she's 2-3 in her last 5 fights. Cris Cyborg, she's fought bantamweights in her last 5 fights. No, I'm just playing. I don't know if those are exact true, but they're pretty fucking close to being true. Come on, don't give me that main event for UFC 219. Come on. The fuck? I'm sorry for the profanity, but that's really pissing me off that Cris Cyborg said that low key. Has somebody at UFC been telling her she might be the main? Man, you should have put that shit on UFC 218, bro. If you're gonna make that the main event, put it over fucking, I guess, Max Holloway, Frankie Edgar, even though that's my main event. People, you guys see the frustration, man. I'm not gonna keep going in on this possibly being the main event because I didn't read that. I didn't even read this article before I started doing the motherfucking report on it because I'm just getting to the news. I'm reacting as I read it. So man, that's crazy. So with that being said, here's the moral of the story. Shout out to Jorge1 for donating $20. That's it. I'm just fucking around. But no, with that being said, Cris Cyborg is saying that she wants Holly Holm, and this is interesting because Holly Holm has been accused of steroids in the past. Now, maybe not per se by, Dana White or any of the other people in the MMA community as far as fighters, and maybe some of them have, but there's video just like the Kevin Lee. You know, I don't like saying people are on steroids if they've never tested once, popped once before in their career ever. I'm not going to ever do a video and say, hey, is this person on steroids? Look, they've got a lot of extra muscles. No, that's not going to be me. But shit, nigga, I'm on YouTube. I might see the video like, hey, what the fuck? So with that being said, I've seen a video on Kevin Lee and Holly Holm. People are saying they have like signs in forums and threads and shit on like SureDog and Reddit and type of shit with pictures and circles outlining the parts. Oh, this looks like a dot. Oh, this looks like an extended clitoris. Like, come on, bro. That people be going into this. And see, I'm not somebody that's real familiar with steroids. I'm like Michael Bisping. I'm naive as fuck when it comes to steroids. So with that being said, you guys can have fun with that because I know some of you guys know about it. But with that being said, it's funny. Cris Cyborg is more unanimous or more synonymous with the word steroids than Jackson Wink, and I'm pretty sure that's a true stat, but I don't have the number, so I'm not going to say it is. But Cris Cyborg said Jackson Wink has had more athletes than any other gym in MMA suspended by USADA, most notably John Jones for sure. And hey, she does have a point, but that would literally change USADA's rules. If they say we do random testing, they would have to rewrite their entire fucking guidelines. Hey guys, actually we're not doing random anymore. Cyborg got pissed, so what we're gonna do now is we're going to go ahead and whenever you're fighting somebody, that's when we'll start testing you, and then we're gonna make sure we test you guys at the same time. So what? No, I mean, so Cris Cyborg, I will ask you guys this: do you feel like Cris Cyborg's being targeted by USADA? Do you feel like it's unfair? If you've called police on a USADA agent, or if your team has called the police on USADA before, or like John Jones, if there's rumors of you beating the USADA system and hiding under an octagon for hours, and now there's jokes about it and shit, do you think USADA would target people like that? Now, I don't think, you know, by their guidelines, I mean, I don't think they can intentionally target someone like, okay, people think that she's on steroids, let's go ahead and test her a bunch of times just to prove it. But I don't know, it's interesting. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, fuck yeah, test her. I'm fine with Cris Cyborg, but there's a lot of people on the other end of the stick that don't like Cris Cyborg. And she did say she likes it. It's given her a chance to prove to her fans she's competing clean. Your fans already believe you're clean. It's really proven to the haters, because it doesn't matter if you're doing a video on Cris Cyborg holding a baby with cancer. People are going to come in and say, stop, she's going to fucking give that baby steroids. Alright, with that being said, alright, I'm done with this video, man. I'm fucking rambling at this point. It is what it is, dog. Let the haters know what the fuck you talking about in the comments, because I'm out!
Bye, Felicia.